Hey there, guys. Alright, today we are back with another week of World War II, number 54, September 7th, 1940. Burn, London, burn. The Blitz begin. I have nothing to say here at the beginning of this video, so let's go ahead and dive right in.
Uh-huh. No, not the ballroom kind.
Huh.
All right.
Should I be paying more attention to these at the beginning? I'm not going to, even if you tell me yes.
September 7th, 1940. It is a word that is not English, and yet it has entered the English phraseology as a legend. This week it begins. The Blitz.
Yeah. So it came into the English language in the 40s.
I'm Indy Nidell. This is World War II. Last week, the Battle of Britain continued, with the Luftwaffe targeting British airfields, still trying to gain aerial superiority before an invasion could be launched. In China, the Communist Army's 100 Regiments offensive continued into its second week, and in the Mediterranean, Operation Hats began, designed to beef up the British fleet at Alexandria, supply Malta, and harass the Italians. That operation concludes this week. The British...
I was about to say, it's not hard to harass Italians. That could be taken the wrong way.
British fleet at Alexandria now has the battleship Valiant and the aircraft carrier Illustrious from Gibraltar. There are 3 battleships and 2 aircraft carriers total there now, along with the anti-aircraft cruisers Coventry and Calcutta. Italy has 5 battleships, and the move to Alexandria will help against any moves the Italians may make against Egypt. But of course, the main British focus this week is on the skies over the home island. The daily German air raids continue, but by now British fighters are flying more daily sorties than the combined total of German bombers and fighters. Germany loses 148 planes the 1st through the 6th, the RAF 120 in the air and more on the ground. But it is clear that the Royal Air Force is not nearly beaten. So on September 3rd, Adolf Hitler postpones the invasion of Britain. S-Day is now scheduled for the 21st. 11 divisions will make the assault. 2 airborne will...
11. He's really losing. Okay, I guess the mental decline here of Mr. Mustache Man really started already.
Will go in at once, but the other 9 start 6,700 men strong and will only reach full strength after a few days. Around 250 tanks will join. So 4 divisions of the 16th Army will land near Folkestone, 2 of the 9th Army near Eastbourne, and 3 more of the 9th near Brighton. These are not mutually supporting beachheads.
No.
At this time, the defending British forces have only made a partial recovery from the equipment losses at Dunkirk. There are perhaps 4 divisions fully equipped and 8 more in a reasonable state. In addition, there are various mobile brigade groups. There are about 350 cruiser and heavy tanks in the country and about 500 anti-tank guns. Also on the 3rd, at a conference in The Hague, the plans to bring Britain's fighter command out for a decisive battle are hammered out, targeting London. The target was the city docks, and Hitler heralded the attack in a surprise appearance at the Berlin Sportspalaz to open the Winterhilfe, Winter Help, campaign. In an atmosphere foreshadowing a 1960s pop concert, he told his largely female audience, "When the British declare they will attack our cities in great strength, then we will erase their cities." And also on the 3rd, 4 spies for Germany, 1 German and 3 Dutch, are landed on the south coast of Britain. They are caught within hours. Under interrogation, they say that they are the advance for an imminent invasion. British intelligence looks at
No, they gave that up pretty quick.
photo reconnaissance of the increase in the number of barges at Ostend, the cancellation of all German army leave, and those spies' information, it seems they're in Britain, to report the movement of British reserves within Oxford, Ipswich, London, and Reading. And on the 7th, the Chiefs of Staff issue Cromwell at 8:07 p.m. This code means the German invasion is about to begin. Well, the 7th is a milestone day in the Battle of Britain, even without a German invasion. From today, the Luftwaffe indeed focuses on London and not the airfields. This is Black Saturday. This is the start of the Blitz. The Germans believe the husbanded RAF reserves will have to be committed and then can be destroyed. Albert Kesselring's 2nd Luftflotte is to attack London by day with 500 bombers and 600 fighters. Hugo Sperle will attack by night with 300 bombers. He has to do that because Kesselring has all of his fighters. But there will also be 100 Me-110s and over 200 Stukas. The British have 350 or so planes on frontline duty and more in reserve. Luftwaffe Chief Hermann Goering watches his planes go into action that day from the cliffs at Pas de Calais. 300 bombers and 600 fighters target the London docks on the 7th. They lose 41 planes, the RAF 28.
I think that's probably like the closest trade-off we've had.
The bombing is very effective this day. 250 of Sperle's bombers follow up at night, guided by the still burning fires of the day. As I've said before, the RAF can do little interception by night, though airborne radar sets are finally being delivered and put into use. The week ends with a successful first day for Germany of the new phase of the Battle of Britain.
Oh, time for one of these transitions, I guess.
Here is an interesting anecdote about British Spitfire planes I found in James Holland's The Battle of Britain. Goering meets his fighter commanders this week and tells them they have let him down. Then, talking about the upcoming London campaign, he tells them protecting bombers is more important than racking up a big number of kills. He then asks them what he can do to make that job easier. And Flying Ace Adolf Galland says, "I should like an outfit of Spitfires for my squadron." Goering replies, "Germany has the best fighters in the world." And Galland says, yeah, sure. I mean, the Me-109 is a better plane. It can climb, dive, and accelerate quickly, but the Spitfire has lower wing loading, so it's better at slow maneuvers. That's what you need to do when protecting bombers. Apparently, Goering has no answer to this and just turns and leaves. A new phase in the Battle of Britain may be beginning, but phase 1 of the Battle of 100 Regiments continues this week in China. Now, the Zhengtai railway line, which I talked about last week, is super important. But Chinese intelligence knows that for all of its fortification, it is actually pretty lightly defended at the moment. The Japanese have 125,000 men in 5 divisions in Hebei and Shaanxi provinces. But along the line, there are only 15,000 men in 3 regiments. So most of the installations have fewer than 25 men manning them. And there are only 14 Japanese total manning the Jingxing coal mine, which is also really important. So this
Man, what is going on here?
week, like last week, the Chinese just used superior numbers to overwhelm better equipped but smaller Japanese defenses. They damage roadbeds, switching yards, water tanks, and more. And at the coal mine, destroy the facilities and flood the shafts by destroying the pumps that cleared them. So far, the communist offensive is proceeding exceptionally well. They are in a united front with the Chinese Nationalist Army, but elsewhere, another united front seems to be forming. Maybe between nations, or maybe between a nation and a single man from another. For this week on the 2nd, the Destroyers for Bases Agreement becomes official, where the U.S. will give 50 destroyers to Britain in return for base rights on British possessions in the North Atlantic and the West Indies. I say a single man because President Franklin Roosevelt signed the deal by executive order, bypassing Congress and coming under fire from anti-war factions. The first one of those 50 will get a British crew the 9th and arrive in Britain the 28th. Those ships, though, are from a reserve from World War I shipbuilding, and many will require extensive overhauling. 7 of them will go
So helpful.
to the Canadian Navy. Roosevelt is not the only national leader making decisions on his own this week. In Romania, there is turmoil because of last week's Second Vienna Award that gave Romanian territory and 2.5 million people to Hungary. On the 6th, Carol abdicates in favor of son Michael, and Antonescu takes control of Romania as conducător, leader, similar to Führer. Later in the month will come the announcement that the fascist Iron Guard is the only legal political party. Also the 6th,
Lovely.
German Führer Adolf Hitler approves the transfer of Fedor von Bock's Army Group B from west to east, where 35 divisions are currently deployed. The transfer of troops to Poland will continue, and he can now camouflage it as validating Germany's guarantee of the transfer of half of Transylvania from Romania to Hungary. He'll also send a military mission to Romania itself. This is a whole army division and an Air Force mission next week. They will, in reality, be tasked with setting up protection for the Pleshti oil fields. And the week comes to an end with Chinese communist successes in the east, German successes on the first day of the Blitz in the west, British fears of impending invasion, and a big political change in Romania. Wheels within wheels. Romania, Hungary, USSR. Romania's lost a lot of territory recently, unwillingly, to first the USSR and now Hungary and Bulgaria. And this has brought in a pro-German Romanian dictator whose goal of taking back Bessarabia can only be accomplished with German help. Hungary is pro-Germany, partly because of German help in territorial expansion. Hitler also now has a reason for bringing troops from west to east. Though he's currently trying to pound Britain into submission, and it seems like he might invade tomorrow. However, it's no secret that he's thought this whole year that Britain is willing to make peace. It just hasn't yet. But why does he think that? An interesting quote from Hitler's back on August 14th reveals his thinking. He said, "Probably two reasons why Britain won't make peace. Firstly, she hoped for U.S. aid, but the U.S. can't start major arms deliveries till 1941. Secondly, she hopes to play off Russia against Germany. There are two danger areas which could set off a clash with Russia. Number one, Russia pockets Finland. This would cost Germany her dominance of the Baltic and impede a German attack on Russia. Number two, further encroachments by Russia on Romania. We cannot permit this because of Romania's gasoline supplies to Germany. Therefore, Germany must be kept fully armed. Germany is not striving to smash Britain because the beneficiaries will not be Germany, but Japan in the East, Russia in India, Italy in the Mediterranean, and America in world trade. That is why peace is possible with Britain. And it makes perfect logical sense.
It does.
Let's say you're Britain. Okay,
Sort
what
of.
are your options in this war at this moment? Well, you can keep fighting and win against Germany, but at what cost in men and material and ability to protect your empire? You can keep fighting and lose, and then you would most certainly lose your empire because, of course, Russia will move on India and Japan on Burma and Italy in the Mediterranean, and you could do nothing about it. Or you could make peace and avoid all of that. Keep your colonies and your soldiers. It's perfectly logical for the British to make peace. But people, and this includes politicians and statesmen, are not always guided by logic.
Nope.
Sir, I have myself.
If you want to know more about the importance of the British colonies to the motherland, especially India, watch our Between Two Wars episode about.
And that was week 54 of World War II. Burn, London, burn. The Blitz begins September 7th, 1940. This was one of those kind of setup weeks where things are going to start getting exciting in the future. It is still amazing, though, how far into planning Sea Lion actually got. Every time I've heard it talked about, growing up, and even up until recently, through just because of this channel here, I've always thought, up until this channel, that the invasion of London was never really an actual, like, they had concepts of a plan, but it never really moved anywhere to like a date or even material being designated for it outside of the planes bombing London. Like, I thought that was the first they got. Like, the planes were just bombing London, and that's the furthest those plans got. And, well, I guess not. I guess there were some actual legitimate invasion plans. Though I don't think them good ones. Though those beach landings are awful. They're reminiscent of the Norwegian landings, which worked out well for Norway, but I do not think that can be replicated with England. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.